How's it going, guys? Got some hobby time in last night. Managed to paint up one of the dragons from that Firelands dragon set. Painted it up as a black dragon, my favorite sculpt from that set. Based it on those little cardboard counters I rescued from that board game. Um, yeah, turned out pretty well. Has pretty nice detail on these sculpts. For the price, how cheap they were. I just gave it a black undercoat and then just dry brushed the various layers of grey and just picked out some detail, the red eyes and the bone for the spines and the teeth and stuff. So I painted up the tail as a kind of it has spines on it, so I can use that as a swooping attack. Yeah, its tail, like a kind of like a battering ram. Could be one of its attacks. Give it a wash of brown. As I always say, I'm not really a painter. I'm kind of haven't really been painting that long. Yeah, I was working on an adventure to use it in. I wanted it to be in. I wanted to do like a kind of a lost mine kind of adventure, but I didn't want to do it as a dwarven mine. It's after the Lord of the Rings movies are made. It's kind of, and the Hobbit. It's kind of in the public domain for most people. Dwarves and mines, so it's a bit cliche. So I was thinking, Yadach mine. They had the mines centuries ago before they had the war with the dwarves. Yeah, I thought, the Yadach, they're kind of like a lost civilization. In ruins. There's not really many of them. Some tribes around. They've kind of really lost their language and their technology. So I was thinking that they were kind of like nomads traveling underground, and they discovered this old Yidach mine, and the new chief, the young chief, he's particularly smart, for Yidach kind of standards, and he starts, reading the pillars and the statues and stuff, and then he basically teaches himself to read, and they kind of want to restart this mine. They want to try to get the furnaces working and stuff, kind of reclaim their lost civilization, and so they discover the Black Dragon, and they do a deal with the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon will help them, and they kind of support each other. So they're living in this mine together. This tribe of Yadach and this Black Dragon in this old abandoned ruined Yadach mine. Yeah, I was thinking of these guys for the Yadach. They really work well. Even like the armor is very reminiscent. Maybe I could do some conversion work, convert these axes into clubs. These are hyena men from Splintered Light, and there's also some other nice looking ones. There's like some archers. There's old kind of sculpts, but then there's the new ones. Can't see the archers there now. Like these ones are really cool. It's like the personalities. It could be like the chief, like a priest, a Dutch priest. So I thought they would work well for that. Also, yeah, when I was in high, this was, I really loved this little blurb in this book when I was a kid. When I first got this book, I think when I was coming home on the bus, this was the first entry I read, because I liked that flick through and I liked that picture. I was really intrigued by, this lost race and them being like kind of wolf men. I was a big fan of that movie Wolfman, and the whole history with the dwarfs and the Scorn, and I was really intrigued by that, and I really wanted to know more, but there really wasn't any more information available. There was no internet or anything then. So when I was in first year of high school, I wrote a short story for high school, and it was about like that war with the dwarves and the Adachi, and I just made up a lot of things. And one of the things I remember I made up was that the Adachi, they were losing the war because of the dwarves' war machines. Dwarves had like gunpowder and cannons and stuff, so they were always losing the battles, and so they created these monsters because they had no cavalry, and they wanted to punch through the dwarven lines and get to the war machines and destroy them. So they created wolves, giant wolves that were armored with a big battering ram spikes on the front of their head, and they had like a tail of a scorpion. I can't remember what the name of them were. The Dutch had like a name for them in their language, but the dwarfs called them scar wolves. Yeah, so it's like messing around trying to recreate them with just like a scorpion kind of Halloween decoration rubber scorpion that I got in a big set of insects off Amazon, and just a bit of conversion work on a warg from a goblin warg set from Dark Alliance. It just needs to be painted up. I do a few of them, so maybe the Adachi are trying to breed these again. In the story, they wanted to use them as cavalry, to ride them, but it turned out that they were so volatile because they were created through dark magic and like eugenics and stuff. They were so volatile that as soon as they got a taste of blood, they just became uncontrollable, and they would tend to like stab the rider with the scorpion tail and kill him as well, and just attack anybody. They just went crazy. So then what they ended up doing was just sending them in ahead to try to break, without riders, to try to break the dwarven lines. But in the end, as we all know, the Adachi were defeated. So I have a few of them going around the mine. I was thinking like loads of stuff going on. Like, when they approach the mine, they can see on top of the mountain there's these huge pillars, like almost look like smokestacks, and they're actually ventilating shafts that, the dragon, he goes into them and he can crawl up and get out through there. And then there's also a back door. This would be the final room. And kind of the ecology of the mine would be, there's this like kind of mosses growing around, and these like strange luminous nocturnal plants that give off a glow, kind of like I can't think ultraviolet or some kind of blue kind of grey kind of glow. So I was thinking like in the final room when they finally get down there, they have to fight the dragon. They would do their usual thing, but what my parties always end up doing is the fighters will go forward to fight the big bad, and then the spellcaster would hide at the back, and he would be firing off fireballs and lightning blasts and all his spells, and they would easily bring down anything, even like something as strong as a dragon would be defeated. Lightning blast potentially is 14 stamina points if he rolls double sixes. A few of them going off would bring down that dragon pretty easy. So all these stones and rocks around, so I was thinking, leave some cover for the wizard there and try to bone the wizard. After a few rounds, the dragon will be attacking in melee, and then he would be every so often he would be using his breath attack, so he would be taken to the air, he would be flying, and then like I had this breath attack thing. I can't really stick it in with my one hand, so he has like his acid, or not acid, the black dragon has like a toxic fumes, like gas. So I painted it up to look like, World War One. I was watching that, All Quiet on the Western Front, that the gas attacks were terrifying. So I thought of that and painted up as kind of like a mustardy green, toxic gas. So he would takes it to the sky, he would try to blast them with this, and of course they'd know what's coming because he takes the sky, they'll be hiding, and then like the wizard will be blasting off, but then you have, unbeknownst to them, there's a few dragon eggs, over here. They just see it as stones because it's mottled camouflage. Over the centuries, the eggs have been, laid with this kind of camouflage, kind of rocky tone to them. So they don't really notice them as eggs. They just presume they're rocks, and then one round the dragon flies over and he blasts this area with this gas. And the players are thinking, like, why is he doing that? What's going on? What he's actually doing is that's how he hatches his eggs. He uses the gas to penetrate the eggs, and that brings the occupant to life. So then, like, one of the eggs hatches, and a smaller dragon comes out. Obviously, this is a bit too big to be in that egg, but it's the smallest dragon I have. So, so then, you have access to the spellcaster. So you're boning your spellcaster, really. You're really putting the mockers on him. He's trapped behind the lions, and then he has to deal with this kind of a smaller young baby dragon attacking him. And your spellcaster is going to be pretty bad in combat. So you're taking the pressure off your main bad guy by basically, not really a cheap move, but you need to keep the players on their toes every so often. This guy just kind of basically the same paint job, just the black, the greys, and pick out the spines and teeth and stuff in white. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of the final room. I had some ideas about other rooms, like there's like old machines there, like these ancient machines that's a lost technology, and they were in fact like steam machines to run like rock crushers and stuff in the mine that that used to use a century ago, and when they fell, it kind of became like a lost technology. And there's like a lava field, might be some razor jaws or something there that they have to pass through, in a river. And what they were doing, they were clashing the lava with the water, and creating these like huge fumes of steam that they vented up through these pipes and into these machines, and they ran it kind of like a steam machine to run these. So that you're actually trying to figure out how to start them up, and they also use them for the ventilation shaft turbines to suck down the fresh air into the lower parts of the mine. Yeah, I had lots of ideas about it. As I said, I'm just messing around. I enjoy laying out this stuff and figuring out rooms and how combat would work, and trying to gauge how easily what the dragon needs to kind of survive against the typical party. Yeah, okay, that's it. Should have another video up soon enough. Thank you.